What's up? Happy Monday. Welcome into the CHGO Bears Podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app. Use promo code CHGO when you sign up. What's going on, Bears fans? Adam Hoge, Corey Wootton, Mark Carman here. Braggs is in the chat already harassing people.
I want you to address the chat right now about what's being discussed. I want you.
What are we talking today? Okay, first of all, why are we late? Great question, Mubs. Not Carm's fault today. We did another great video breakdown that we're going to have as soon as the show's over on Twitter, so make sure you're following it at CHGO_Bears. And we had complaints last week about the monitor and the TV being too small, so we got like two 70-inch TVs for you this week.
So it's good. You'll be able to see everything. We zoomed in a little bit as well, so for your viewing pleasure, CHGO fans. Let's get it, baby.
And I heard the show. It's fantastic, so always check out the Woot Hoge Monday action. But I'd like you to address another thing. Who is the most focused on a daily basis that we start this show right at noon?
Me.
Lawrence.
Oh, usually Lawrence, although he was still in a meeting at 11:52. 2-ish, 3-ish.
8 minutes.
Yeah.
Who gets credit for that?
Lawrence?
Oh my God! I can't believe that he will
me,
not
right?
give me the
credit. Guys, the real reason.
The credit that I deserve. I love, by the way, the wanting us to be there right on time that you're rating for the show is such a
Chomping at the bit, man.
We love you for it. We absolutely love you for it.
But the real reason we're late is because Carm had to change. He had some regular sweatpants on, and he had to go a little bougie on us. He has the Lululemon tops and bottoms. Look at him. Is that not right?
So it's right in that I am double Lulu today. Lulu pant.
I don't know. It's not the
Lulu
there's
top.
There's no like the bottom isn't tight. You know, it's like just a loose bottom. Isn't you're supposed to like kind of have those tightened now? I don't know. Isn't that the look?
So
yeah, like the jogger.
Yeah, the jogger. That's the
Yaga.
one I was looking for. Yaga jogger.
So yeah. Let me just explain the greatest thing that's ever happened with me and Lululemon was when Chris Rock was telling, they were talking in his monologue, he was like, or his show, he's like Lululemon's got this whole thing like about they don't discriminate, they don't do this, and he's like, y'all hate some people, how about poor people? $125 for some yoga pants?
Yeah,
he's
seriously.
like, I would love some $25 racist yoga pants. How about some 20? I mean,
yeah, that was a good one.
So that was my favorite moment ever with Lulu. But my beautiful, amazing sophomore at Lane Tech, going to be a soccer star. Somebody should be recruiting her out there. She got me, her family got me the Lululemon gift card.
Okay.
And so then I was in there, and I'm like, I like the pants, but I love the top. I like them both. And I'm like, you know what, Carm? You're a hardworking Carm. I'm gonna treat you.
There you go.
And I went for them both, and so that's how this happened.
This has nothing to do with the Bears, obviously, but last Christmas, so usually in my family we do like the $50 gift exchange where you can like trade it, and, it gets a little cutthroat, things like that. Well, someone had a $50 Lululemon gift card. I'm like,
you get a glass of water.
what is this going to give me? Half a pant leg?
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
you get one leg.
Yes.
I get half a pant here with this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah, I don't. But I gotta say, this thing. I'm gonna feel this thing. It's so soft. It's.
Wow.
I mean, it's a Kmoot.
Braggs needs
come
some
on.
of this, right? The bricklayer.
This is premium.
Well, life hack for Chris Rock and anybody else. That was who you said it was, Chris Rock, right? Okay. Old Navy makes pants that, I don't know if you've noticed, I wear them a lot. I have jeans on today, but those khakis I wear, the Navy pants I come in here and wear,
golf pants too.
Yeah.
they're just as comfortable as Lululemon. They are super comfortable.
I buy it.
They low-key
And I
have
think
this-
they cost $15.
I've been doing that for years. They have the same technology, low key.
Yes.
If you look at the materials and everything, they basically have the same exact.
And they're
stuff.
great for golf.
They are.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah, no, I'm a complete fraud for wearing this clothing.
You're not
right?
a fraud.
A little
You're
fraud.
not you're the opposite of a fraud.
Thank
It
you
was
very
not
much.
your fault you were late, although I was a little confused when I came in here and you weren't here this morning. That really threw me off on a Monday morning.
We've got.
I came here before him.
Woot was here before you today.
That Woot was early today. Woot came ready.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
I had stuff going on in the homestead I had to take care of, and so I wasn't the first person in the office today.
But you're here. That's
but
all that matters.
I'm here ready to go.
I want to start the show, though, talking about a non-Bears play that sort of is loosely related to the Bears.
Okay.
But I have decided after watching it maybe 57 times since it happened yesterday that the ending of the Raiders-Patriots game is my favorite play of all time.
I didn't think it was real.
It is the perfect play because, first of all, just like, I don't know if I've ever seen a game like end like this on any level where it's tied and you need like a Hail Mary. You don't do the Hail Mary. You just start recklessly laddering the football for no reason. But right there, that's the best part. Mac Jones
gets trucked.
You know, in like Looney Tunes, when like the coyote he jumps off the cliff and then like all you see is the imprint of the coyote's body in the ground. Like that's why boom, right there, Mac Jones. Just I think it left an imprint of his body in the Las Vegas Raiders turf right there. And the reason why that's so beautiful for many reasons. But remember when that guy Mac Jones kicked Jaquan Brisker in the balls earlier this year?
Grayson Allen Jr. over here.
Exactly. That is Mac Grayson Allen Jones.
That was the softest attempt at a tackle.
Take that, Mac.
But look at that.
He might as well be a kicker. Literally, he went into fetal position before he even stiff-armed him. Come on, man.
He
Eat
belongs
that
in the
turf.
ComEd ad
Eat
for
it.
that reach.
Literally, all you had to do was just hold on to his leg and rally the troops, and they would have got him down. Because Chandler Jones is not fast by any means. Somebody would have caught him.
Oh, man. Yeah, you have to find a way to get him down there. But Chandler Jones was just like, this is my opportunity to put my hands in your face and not get penalized for it. Bam!
Well, that was the most amazing part to me. Like, Chandler Jones acted like he had been in that situation before. Like, I would have thought you catch it and, like, look around like, did this just happen? And, like, all of a sudden you just got caught because you're – but whatever. He was like –
It's every D lineman's dream.
Yeah, sit
like,
out. Yeah.
You've been going through this since you're a kid, right? You're on the playground. They're like, oh, yeah, go. You got to go on the offensive line. You're like, not on the playground. I'm over here.
Yeah.
So he's been acting it out for years.
Chandler Jones must have been a running back, though, at some point. Like, the way he caught that ball so flawlessly and then immediately knew stiff arm, put him to the ground. Like, that was – oh, man, that was beautiful.
Yeah, it was great to see. But how surprising was that from a Patriots,
Yeah.
Bill Belichick team, not knowing a situational football and just going down and just living to play overtime?
The fighting Belichick's, is there anything more enjoyable than when that happens to that team? Honestly.
Well, that's the thing. If it was the other way around, if, like, the Patriots had done that to the Raiders, we'd be like,
Yeah, it's expected.
And then they'd all be screaming, see, Belichick, look at the way he coaches his guys. Look at how amazing Belichick is.
Yeah.
I wonder how much longer Belichick has it. I think he's 69 years old now. Nice, yeah. Just the way this team's been playing all year. This isn't just this game. They
let the Bears beat them 33-14 at home.
Another great point. Like, he got punked by Matt Eberflus and the Bears.
And he was so sweet afterwards. He's like hugging Eberflus, and I'm like, that's not what you do. You scowl at him and you walk off, and you're. But he was. Maybe it's a different. I don't know. End of career belly.
And speaking of Chandler Jones, right? We had an opportunity to draft him. He's still available, right?
Yeah,
and then
that was the
Chandler
Shea
Jones
wasn't that the Shea McClellan draft?
And then
Hendrick says Tornado Shea.
And then Chandler Jones, I think, has 110 career sacks.
Yeah, he's still going.
Yeah, he's still
Shea
very
McClellan,
productive.
I think, is coaching high school football in Boise or something like that,
And this is where we get to.
which is good for him, by the way.
Yeah.
Exactly. Shea's a great
Yeah.
dude. Yeah.
I just had a wave of
Shea has a Super Bowl ring, by the way.
with the Patriots.
Oh, wait, I'm not sure he does. Actually, that was the one they lost to the Eagles.
Chandler Jones got one or
Yeah.
two for sure.
Yeah. All I'm thinking about is you have to evaluate. You're talking about player evaluation, which takes me right to Ryan Poles, which takes me right to Velus Jones, which takes me right to Treston Ebner, which takes me right to Byron Pringle, which takes me right to Chase Claypool. And I know there's some wins in here, but I'm getting a little nervous about what this offseason's going to be. Let's get hot, Ryan Poles. Let's dial it in right now and have the offseason of all off seasons so we can get to the point where there's a team in this city that is actually doing something.
The one thing, Poles, though, I think he's going to beef up the lines for sure. I think he's a very offensive line, defensive line driven guy. The thing I worry about is not potentially getting another weapon like a number one. I'm not talking about a guy that can be a 2 or a 3 that can be, give you 600 to 800. I'm talking about number one, a dog, a guy that'll go up and get it when the game's on the line that you need. So that's what I'm just hoping he does. A part of me worries that he might not.
I mean, if they traded out and they got a first-round draft pick next year, and that's where they were kind of eyeing getting that quote-unquote dog wide receiver, would that bother you? Because
it would. Because Jalen Carter and Will Anderson, you saw what the Eagles did with their defensive line. You see how dominant a defensive line and it can take over a game.
There's a lot of them.
You
throw one dude in there.
But you're talking about potentially Jalen Carter, Will Anderson, potential Pro Bowler, Hall of Fame if they hit the trajectory that we think they can, right?
Okay.
Like a once in a while type of guy.
So if you do get that guy, then you can make the argument that it's worth spending the pick on that, but you got to nail it.
Yeah, you have to. But
you got to be
any pick sometimes, right? Like you just never know how someone's going to transition.
Right.
You go off, obviously everything you did at college, the evaluations, the workouts you do. But I think you got to get a defensive lineman.
Yeah,
we need defensive linemen. You saw how much we struggled against Phillies. I was telling you, it's a thing of beauty as a former defensive lineman watching how they straight rush, how they work the games off it, the exit stunts, and they work them so well. And it's just like I said yesterday, the Eagles are who we want to become, right? And I think Justin Fields can potentially be better than Jalen Hurts, right?
Yeah. He's certainly got the raw talent to do it. Absolutely.
He just doesn't have the playmakers. Philly has surrounded – they're making a push, right? They're we're winning the Super Bowl right now. I'm hoping that the Bears are in this situation a year or two from now, right, where we have all the talent, we have all the tools, and we're making a push for that. So
Did you just say the Eagles are winning the Super Bowl? Did I hear that?
They're making a push for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You okay?
First of all, the NFC right now, it's who is going to challenge them?
Maybe the Cowboys.
Are they going to lose?
Yeah.
But the Cowboys lost yesterday.
They're up and down, but defensively, I think they can keep them in it.
They play each other this weekend, which will be fun to watch, the Eagles and Cowboys. But
you don't like the Niners?
Well, that's what I was going to say. The Niners to me are the only team that, when you look at their line of scrimmage, is in the same stratosphere as the Eagles, right? But then they have Brock. I know you're the Brock Purdy guy, but give me Jalen Hurts. Come on.
Yeah, come on. Brock Purdy in the playoffs? No.
Yeah, I'm not buying that. It's a different level.
Plus that game's going to be in Philly. January in Philly.
Those fans are nuts, man.
Well,
Philly fans, they got a jail in that place.
First off, I think it's on the table that Jimmy may be back, for one. For two, Brock Purdy's making some plays now. No, he's not. No, but
he's making some plays. But on the big stage, Carman, playing in Philly in a hostile place,
it's gonna be tough against that defense. The Eagles are clearly the favorite. I wouldn't like. They don't seem like it is a guarantee that Philly's ending up in the Super Bowl.
No. But I think they have the most complete team in football.
No, I agreed.
Oh, I think so too. Yeah.
So who else is for you?
Sure, most complete, yes, but you match them up against Kansas City in the Super Bowl, I'm probably picking the Chiefs, just because Mahomes is that good. That's
the one area I don't really buy into Kansas City's offensive line. I think Patrick Mahomes is pressure a lot and he makes a lot of plays happen, but you saw how Eagles defense flies around.
That's why they lost the Super Bowl a couple years ago.
But they're not at that level right now.
No, they're and there was a lot of injuries that year too. I would also just like to quickly point out Shea McClellan did win a Super Bowl and he started in that game. That was the comeback against the Falcons.
Okay.
Against Kyle Shanahan.
Just took his foot off the gas, right? All you had to do was run the football.
28-3.
Just like Jeff Saturday on Saturday, right?
Just run the ball.
Just run the ball in the second half.
The Cowboys also blew the lead yesterday to the. Yeah. That's another thing. As great as Justin Fields looks and appears to be, Trevor Lawrence right now. Trevor Lawrence has hit that gear. He has found his stride. That passing, he's
got some weapons though.
He does, but
he looks good.
He looks great.
Can't knock it.
I did not think that I could ever evaluate football again after Trevor Lawrence was bad last year. I'm like, I saw that dude play in person in the national championship game. There's no way he's not a good quarterback. That's just impossible.
What is that one player, the linebacker, that said like, "Oh, it's because of Urban Meyer"?
Oh yeah, I forget who that guy was. The Jaguars have this one player. He's like a special teamer who's just like the greatest quote in the world. He's got long hair and he just says it exactly how it is. I wish that guy was in the Bears locker room and I could interview him every week. Carm, you would love
imagine
him.
Carm's the crush that Carm would have on that guy.
Yeah,
I can't wait to have
sunshine.
I have this great photo that
new rookie crop of people I can have a crush on. Let's go, Ryan Poles.
He's at the ultimate bro crush.
Lawrence, I have this great photo of Carm that I took. He was on the field at the White Sox game before first pitch, and I was up in the booth, the radio booth, looking down, and
Carlos
I took a
Boozer?
photo because Carm is standing next to Carlos Boozer, who's about to throw out the first pitch, and he's just looking up at him like, I love you. Just staring at him like admiring him.
Was Booze wearing the painted on hair that day or no?
Oh, the Beijing.
I can look it up.
What's amazing about that one is that I was not even the least bit of a Boozer fan, but just
Really?
no.
I thought you used to be in the crowd like, booze.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
I'm
did.
Like, I didn't want him when they signed him.
You had his jersey.
I didn't like him on the court.
He
I
had
liked
his
nothing
jersey.
about it. But, right in front of me there. Like, Booze was a good if he was in the mood, he was a good talker. We can talk about the takeaways from this football game. But yes, that's right. The main reason why I am sitting here today is my main impetus for wanting to get in the business is that I wanted to get into the locker room when Michael Jordan was still playing. That's what I wanted to do. I had no career plan or anything. Just get me in the locker room so I can see MJ.
Is that why he has that restraining order against you?
That's Mike and I we're tight. He doesn't know it, but we're tight.
Oh God, sound like the stalker over there. Hi, Michael. Can you sign my sneakers?
They used to practice at and we can.
Oh, here we go.
They used to practice at the multiplex, right? And the Bulls and we would play pickup there. So half court full, like the full on the half court. Anyway, Mike's walking in. Carm on the drive, sweet spin move, hang, gets fouled, layup, around and out. As I land, I look in, and Mike's watched the whole play, and he gave me the ooh. I got the ooh.
Did he really?
He gave me the ooh.
That's serious.
For real, 100%.
Okay, Carm.
I got an ooh on one of my drives.
Okay.
He liked it, so we're tight. Me and MJ. I got an ooh. 1989, roughly, maybe 90, 89.
Well,
We can do the show now.
Well, no, Justin Fields is on his way to that level, right?
Somebody, it was written, I think, in it was a comment that somebody put that Fields is like Jordan 86 against the Celtics carrying this team, which is a little too tall, but it's he is.
I mean, when you look at yesterday's game and you're like, how the hell did they score 3 touchdowns against the Eagles? It was him and like a little bit of help from David Montgomery.
Yeah, that's about it. But it's impressive. Like obviously like this passer rating was pretty impressive, and sometimes people take that with a grain of salt, depending on situation. But all things considered, getting sacked 6 times, getting pressured, I think it was like majority of the time, like he did pretty well. Like most quarterbacks, especially young guys, like kind of go in their shell and won't perform well. But it was promising to see him getting pressured and still being able to make plays out there.
I mean, usually, I just like hearing athletes gush over other athletes. Brandon Graham, defensive end, Philly, quote, "That boy nice." Everything we've seen on film, we knew that already. Everything we've seen on film, we knew that already. We knew that boy was fast. We knew what he liked to do. We knew we were going to have to run today. He got me a couple of times. Man, I just feel like he gets on you so fast.
Yeah.
When you hear that level of respect coming from world-class athletes, that's when you know it's real. Like real.
It's unbelievable because, Jalen Hurts is a fast quarterback, right? Jack Sanborn ran him down.
Yeah.
With Jalen Hurts had 2 steps on him. Justin Fields, that's not happening. Even people that are close to him, good luck. Like break tackles, like it's unbelievable to see. That almost touchdown run where he stepped out of bounds. That was unbelievable. Like his vision, his ability to break tackles, like
there was a moment he had like an 8-yard run down the right side, and it was like once he got to the edge, and then that from like 0 to 8 yards. Yeah. He just turned it on, and it was like
he's got a different level of burst. Like it's unbelievable to see. And
to kind of do a quick comparison, so if you watch the Bills-Dolphins game Saturday, Josh Allen had a really nice run late in that game where he actually showed, it was like, oh, you kind of forget how fast he actually is.
Exactly. He covers a lot of ground.
But you watch it, and he ended up getting caught from behind and going out of bounds. And, like, it was all over Twitter. It was like Justin Fields scored on that.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between the two of them, I think, and probably even Fields and Hurts, is he's got that extra gear.
He does.
And the problem is I just don't know how long he's going to have that. Like, eventually you're going to lose that.
Yep.
But right now it is fun to see him just turn on that extra jet.
Well, I think the way he trains, too, he's going to keep that speed a lot longer than other people. Like, he gets after it in the weight room. Like, I don't think people realize how put together Justin Fields is.
Well, that's another comment that was coming out of there. He's like, that dude must be, I forget who said it, but that dude must be squatting 600 pounds because if he can just throw Hassan Reddick off of him, like you have to be some kind of elite level strong.
I've seen some of the videos of him, like, in the off seasons, like, he gets after it like a defensive lineman or a linebacker or an offensive lineman. Like, in this league, you have to weight lift and weight train. I feel like a lot of quarterbacks don't do that, right? Because obviously you want to be smart about your shoulders. But I think his lower body is solid, and that's where you get all your power, your strength, and you see that. And he's going to continue to keep that explosion for a lot longer than other quarterbacks.
This comment here from Hendricks, I know what Fields' problem is most of the time with his throws. He throws it sidearm almost every pass when he doesn't need to. If he throws over the top, he'll be much better off.
That's an interesting comment because one of the ball to EQ early on was the sidearm, and I'm like, and he has hit a ton of helmets. I think.
Well, I think it's a positive for him that he is able to change his arm angles. I do think sometimes he relies on that sidearm throw too much. I think we saw that yesterday a couple times where he didn't need to do that. That one throw to the side where he had his feet, like he was doing the splits. It's like, you got to get your feet set, man, if you're going to do that. And we did talk about this post-game yesterday. It's like, for somebody who's 6'4", it's a ton of helmets. Now, that didn't happen yesterday, but it's like, how is that happening? You got to go over the top more, I think.
It seems like he tries to get too cute at times, like, because what's the big thing nowadays? Like Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, they change their arm angles all the time.
The one Mahomes had last week where he
unreal.
He like went like this or whatever the hell he did. I'd never even seen that one before. For all the different throws he has, that was a new one.
But yeah, I think it's like a lot of these quarterbacks try to emulate the guys that are the best, and I think that might be a little bit of it because it does give you a different element where you can change your angles, but at times only do it when you need to, right? Like take what the defense is giving you. Like, and my main criticism is when we do some of those swing screens and quick screens, his feet don't get set. And for a guy that has really good footwork, you're like, okay, like it's no problem. Guys that are slower footwork, you're like, oh, I kind of understand like their feet not being set. But Justin Fields got some of the quickest feet by a quarterback, so he just needs to get his feet set. It seems like he tries to rush it too much. Like he's like, I need to get it out quick. Take your time, set up, throw it. Like
I do think in general his mechanics are so much better this year. I think him showing a variety of different throws and his footwork on those different throws has improved. I think now he's just got to take that next step to like have a better understanding of the situation. Oh, this is when I have to do this. This is when I got to come over the top. Whatever it is, I still think that's going to come with experience. Because even if you just look at his throws to the sideline, which yesterday I thought was a little bit of a step back, but the horizontal throws earlier in the year were a huge problem. And he corrected that. He's gotten way more accurate on those.
What I'd like to see, and this is, I think he'll do it more when he's got receivers that he has confidence in, but a lot of the throws that we're seeing from Jalen Hurts, he just, hey, man, I'm going to put it there, go make a play, AJ, go, you know, and it doesn't – I haven't seen Fields, like, just really have the trust that I'm putting this up there and you're going to go get it.
Well, that's where he needs the dudes.
Yeah. But I at this point in the season, it's like, don't worry about the interceptions. Like, let's see if a guy can make a play.
Yeah, I still think it's nice, though, when he comes out of a game with no interceptions. And Will DeWitt had a fun fact on Twitter today that the Fields is the only quarterback to throw for multiple touchdowns and no interceptions against the Eagles this season.
Good job, Will DeWitt.
So
that's pretty good.
It's a good stat.
I like this comment from Jeff Rocks. He said, Mahomes makes the kind of throws dads make against their kids in the yard.
Yeah, he's out there playing turkey bowl football.
It's
it's unbelievable. Like,
Let me throw this one lefty. All right.
it's just crazy sometimes. Like when he starts scrambling and running, all like he looks funny, and then you're like, oh, they're gonna get him, and then all of a sudden he scrambles this way and then throws it, behind his back. You're like, oh my goodness, what is going on here?
And he busts out the Kermit the Frog talk. Then he's
Yeah, me and Andy. he was saying that Travis kid. I can't even do it.
We
that was
drafted
pretty
Mr.
good.
That was pretty good.
We drafted Mr.
Our guy, the
Trubisky.
Duke, coming through with a super chat, 1999. Where was the connection with Komet yesterday? Also, today's day one of me trying to forgive Carm for jinxing Jack Hammer, Sand God. Yeah, I'm surprised we have the jersey on set today.
We're moving forward, Duke. We're moving forward. Don't worry. The future is bright for the Sand God. He will rise again.
High ankle sprain. Right, let's sit him the rest of the season. If he's not feeling good, get on to next season. The scheme of things, he's fine. Sand God, Sanborn, Sackborn, he's gonna be all right.
We're gonna get him in some Lululemon. We're gonna get him moved out of the house. He's living at home still.
Is he?
Yes.
He's commuting from Lake Zurich?
He's
not that far.
I mean, I save. I
Smart
appreciate
guy, saving money.
saving the dough. That's but you can have yourself your own place, Sand God.
Dude, one off season, I stayed in my parents' basement just to save a little bit of money, right? Why not?
I mean, I lived
See
in
my parents and
okay.
not have to get a lease if you don't have to.
I think Cole did that for a while too.
I mean, I lived at home till I was 25. I regret every second that I did that, but I did.
Yeah.
So until the great Kate Novak got me out of the house, just a friend.
Yeah, wait, what?
And Amy moved in, and
Nobody was just saying otherwise.
I don't know.
I kind of was thinking it.
Oh,
yeah, there we go. Somebody out there was thinking it. But then we had Kate, then we had Amy. We had that was Jack Tripper for 3 years. It was great.
Oh,
Bell the dog.
We're going to start listing them?
Yeah, sure. Why not? But I think Sand God can get a place this offseason. Get him set up.
Just live with your parents, man. Get the old van.
Okay. Okay.
Hey, saving money, man. I didn't buy a car until I left here, man. I used to get a dealer car from a dealership.
And so then, okay,
you got to take advantage of these perks of you being a Chicago
you had a dealer car.
Yeah.
You
Chevy
lived at
Tahoe,
home with the parents.
One off season.
Yeah. One off season
for like 3 or 4 months.
So
back to Jersey, I don't get to see my friends and family, so I was like, shoot. Before we had kids, so
okay, so the kid part of it, the extracurricular, so that you just stayed there?
we had an apartment in the basement.
You had an apartment in the basement.
So it was basically my parents.
Okay, so
it was separate.
It was separate. So
separate
so
together.
Okay.
But I was thinking about saving some money. Why not? You know what I mean? I
Carm,
could
that's
pay
a little
for it at
different.
least, but why not?
Carm, I know what you're saying, Carm. It's a little different having the separate. There's the key and all.
Yeah,
that.
it wasn't like our room was next to the parents. It wasn't like that.
We did that. Papa Hoge had that when he was still living in the Tri-Taylor neighborhood.
Okay.
The little garden apartment. We did that for years. We saved before we bought our first house. Now, we still paid rent. It was like
I didn't pay any rent.
50% off rent. It wasn't free rent.
I just, took care of a couple meals, dinners and stuff like that.
Yeah, this is money in the pocket is better than money out the door. This is a very prudent set we got right here.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. When,
we got Lululemon over here.
12 years ago, maybe. now the money going out the door thing is we got to work on that a little bit more now.
When you
got
have
the
kids, it's a lot
it's like,
expensive.
damn, why is this? Don't look at the credit card statements. All right. But one way to spend your money that I highly recommend is
we're busting virgin comments in the chats.
They're going that car.
Slow down there, Chubbs.
It's not nice, Chubbs. It's not nice.
Take it easy there, buddy.
Chubbs likes to go after you. Well, one good way to spend your money is with our friends at Shady Rays, but you don't have to spend a lot with Shady Rays because they don't understand why sunglasses have to be so expensive. So they went out and they changed that. You don't have to break the bank for quality sunglasses this fall because they have you covered with premium polarized shades featuring world-class optical clarity, substantial durability, and styles catered to everyone and every lifestyle. And the best part about Shady Rays is they have the most insane protection program in all of eyewear. If you lose or break your shades on day one, they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. And even with that strong of a protection program, they still managed to make quality that I could tell you from the multiple pairs of Shady Rays that I have and the over 200,000 five-star reviews. These sunglasses are just as good as any expensive pair out there that you can get. Shady Rays also provides 10 meals to fight hunger in America with every order placed. They have donated over 20 million meals to date. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to take advantage of this offer. Use code CHGO for 50% off 2 or more pairs at ShadyRays.com. Go to ShadyRays.com. You get buy one, get one free. 2 pairs for as low as $54. Redeem only at ShadyRays.com, where you can find all their newest and best shades.
If we get enough ones in the comment, we can do. Actually, let's get likes. Let's 10 likes, and we can do story time of Carm living with his parents at some time before the end of the show. I got one good story for
give
you.
Give me 100 likes.
Oh no,
not 10 likes. Give me a break.
10.
Okay, fine, 100.
Yeah,
up the ante.
Yeah,
and when you're up in the ante, also you should up the ante and go to Chi-Town Custom Cornhole, the #1 cornhole provider for Chicagoland and Illinois since 2007. These guys have been around. You've seen them if you come out to our tailgates. They're awesome. They're veteran-owned. They're operated and shipping anywhere. Local pickups as well if you want to go get it. They've got it all for you. They specialize in corporate designs for your company, social events, wedding gifts really for any occasion. Tailgaters, don't be sleeping on this. Backyard barbecues. You get the point here. You want your Chi-Town Custom Cornhole to take your party to the next level. Check out their website, ChiTownCornhole.com. And you can also, if you'd like, follow them on Instagram at Chi-Town Custom Cornhole Boards. Mubs, we don't care. Yes, you do, Mubs. You care. You always.
I like this comment from Brendan. He said the ref that told Terry McLaurin he was onside was definitely wearing Shady Rays.
Oh my goodness, that drove me crazy.
That's you see him check with the ref multiple times, and the ref's like, "Yep," gives him the thumbs
So
up.
look, one coaching point that I know we would tell our kids, because this stuff happens a lot at the high school level, is like if you're gonna check. Because too many times you see a receiver check and then kind of turn away. It's like, no, if you're going to check, make sure. Now, that being said, the referee, I don't like how the referee handled that last night, because to me, the good referees, especially for a player of Terry McLaurin's caliber, who has respect in the league, you'd be like, Terry, no, you got to move up. You got to move up. Like, part of the referee's job is not supposed to be like, I'm looking for everything doing wrong. And no, it's just to facilitate the game. Mm-hmm. And in moments like that, especially where like it really has no outcome on the game, it wasn't creating confusion for the defense because he was off. And he did move up. To me, that's one where the referee either has to be more clear, not just doing hand signals or whatever he did. And obviously McLaurin was confused because he came out after the game and said the ref said I was good. So there's something that probably needs to be investigated with a couple phone calls or something.
Because it looked multiple times like the ref like gave him like a thumbs up or some kind of gesture. Didn't say anything to him, but I agree with you. Like a lot of times these refs will tell you, like even defensive linemen, they're like, hey, back up, you're above the line. They'll give you multiple warnings. Right. They don't want to give you a flag. They just want to let you know. And then after that, if you do it, then they'll flag you. But that shouldn't have been a flag by any means. They were obviously communicating. And like he said, he should have said, hey, move up right now. And that would have been the end of it. That shouldn't be the outcome of the game because they scored on that play.
And to me, even though he could have moved up more, he did move up twice. He inched close twice.
He was good enough.
I thought he was within the yard. And even if he wasn't, it's one of those things where it's like, to me, a good ref understands the moment of that and isn't looking for a ticky-tack call that has nothing to do with it, especially when he did move up. It's like
you're fired. Let's just cut to the chase. You if you can't understand that, you do not belong on that field. We do not. If you want to be on the 6th grade field where you're teaching guys the exact right way and there are rules that you have to follow in life, you want to be that ref? Okay, you can go be that ref. This is a different game, man. Come on.
Yeah. And to me, it's not the same argument that we sometimes get into in basketball, which is like if a foul is a foul in the first quarter, it should be a foul in the fourth quarter, or vice versa.
I don't like that argument either, but yeah.
Well, and fine, and I think certain rules in football, because there are so many of them, that's not the same thing. If you want to make a ticky-tack call about a guy being lined up, a couple inches off the line of scrimmage in the first quarter, just to like kind of set the tone and give him a warning, fine.
Agreed.
The freaking game's on the line, man. Right. They scored a touchdown
they got a chance
on
to
that
go for
play
2 and tie it up.
And you calling, I hated that more than the missed PI, which was a missed PI. That was DPI all day on that next play.
Yeah.
And it's just I can't tell you how many times this weekend watching the amount of football that we got to watch where I go, oh, that crew's not gonna have a playoff game.
The season as a whole, man, these refs have been awful.
We're running out of referees. I can't say if I say that about every game during the weekend. Who's reffing the playoffs?
They probably got to get more former players to ref, honestly, because the ins and outs of the games. Like, I think they do have some kind of ref academy like that former players go into, because we need more former players because they understand the game in a different way. And like too many games have been decided on these BS calls.
I know.
Like the sacks sometimes, like Brady early in the year when Jarrett fell on him, Phillips against Justin Herbert, routine plays that they're calling unnecessary roughness.
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
There's a good – this is –
Are you raising your hand?
What's that?
Are you raising your hand?
To ref?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll be in there. I'll call holding all day. No.
It's like, man, this crew calls a lot of offensive holding,
Yeah.
especially on those tackles. What's going on? Good question here from Rob Schwartz. He says, when will the NFL make it a full-time paid position to be a referee, or can we just use robots? Well, a couple layers here. We touched on this, was it yesterday or a couple days ago, whatever it was. When you watch soccer and this technology that they have to tell if a player is offsides. Like, I think there was a moment in the final yesterday where they literally lined up someone's finger with
they've actually gone a little too far with the offsides rule. But yes, they do use a computer technology to go down the line to see who's offside and onside.
But to me, that could potentially fix this issue that we saw in the Raiders-Patriots game yesterday, where you had the white sole of a cleat on the white line, and it was a little unclear. It seemed pretty obvious the guy probably stepped out of bounds and it should have been a catch, but like they technically could fall back on, well, it's not clear and obvious, so we don't have to, we'll just let it stand. It seems like this technology could fix that. You watch tennis, Carm. How quickly do they challenge?
Yeah, Hawkeye. I mean, honestly, just any
greatest.
measurement is it's 2023 almost, and we're still measuring by with some old 80-year-old guy with sticks. Like, what are we doing?
He was out. No.
And by the way, I can tell you from being on the sidelines, college, high school level, it is a joke how they run those chains. It is so arbitrary about, like, yes, they put the little clip on to mark, like, the one spot where it's with the line, and it's like, come on. You look at tennis, and they replay it in 2 seconds with the ball in or out. You can't tell me we can't come with laser.
You can't put a little chip in the end of the football? Give me a break.
All the money the NFL makes. Right, all the money the NFL makes, and we can't do something.
But this has always been a theory of mine, and I think it's a sound one. I think the NFL likes controversy.
I agreed. That's right.
I think it happened with catch no catch. I think it happened with the pass interference stuff a few years ago. I think they liked it with the taunting.
Yeah.
It keeps the NFL in the conversation, good or bad.
Yeah.
To me, the NFL is the kings of understanding that, with a few exceptions, any publicity is good publicity.
I can't stand it. It's so annoying.
Do you know how many, just rewinding back to Woot's point about he wants former players reffing, which I think is a great invitation. There are 3 right now, according to what I'm looking at right now. We've got Nate Jones, Terry Killens, and Mike Morton, 3 former NFL players who are officiating right now. And I know in the NBA, Leon Jones played. He was a point guard who became a ref. Great way to stay around the game.
Exactly.
Make some dough.
Make some better calls.
And the other part of Rob's question I wanted to address is the idea of going full-time. And there's a good website and Twitter account I recommend you following, Football Zebras. They do a good job of kind of covering the referees on Sundays and all the controversial calls. And I think sometimes, in my opinion, they side too much in defending the referees, but they do come from a refereeing background, so I understand it. Like, for one, they flat out last night said that the Terry McLaurin being off the ball was a good call. By the letter of the law, it's a good call. They're going to call it every time. And I'm like, I just don't agree with that. But then they got into it about full-time referees, and part of the argument against it is so many of these referees have full-time jobs outside, and that and they want to keep doing those jobs. And if you make it to you have to be a full-time referee, it might actually reduce the pool of qualified referees you can get out there, because they don't want to give up their principal job or lawyer job that they have outside.
Pension.
Yeah. Now,
I just find that so hard to believe. I'm going to pay you a lot of money to referee NFL football games. You tell me you can't find a lot of people who want to do that?
And that's where I come from, because the other thing they said, I was following this last night, they said, well, what are the referees going to do the rest of the year?
Hang out.
No, but it's not even, to me, look, you pay them more to get the incentive, because here's the other thing. Yeah. You've had really good referees like Gene Steratore, Mike Pereira, Terry McCall, like guys who could have kept refereeing. I know Steratore had some back injury though, but why do they jump to the TV booth? They're getting paid like triple the amount of money, maybe even more than that, to go sit up in a booth and referee the game up there on television. Of course they're going to leave. So you're losing good officials. You got to pay them more. And then make it a full-time job. How do they spend their offseason? Training. They could go to the NFL Combine where we're all there and the rest of the league is there and have referee summits and go, watch tape, go through all these calls. There's plenty of things you can do in the spring. College spring games. OTAs. Why can't referees be out there for every NFL practice in the offseason?
Sure, and become
players will understand the rules better. Yeah. They'll get more reps looking at this stuff. They'll have better relationships with what's going on. I think it totally could be a full-time job.
So what are the refs average getting paid? Like around 200,000?
247, I want to say. Well, let me double check that.
I don't know.
That's a pretty good salary for part-time.
Yeah.
Right?
You work.
But I agree. It is, but it's also like you look at how important they are to such an important product worth billions and billions and billions of dollars.
Oh no, they could definitely invest in it. Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to start doing a comparison of where a head referee ranks in the importance of all the players who are out there on the field in the middle of a game, but they're pretty damn important.
Exactly. Yeah, I just think they need to rely on. They need to have crews like retired guys that are watching every game from remote and go over all the important calls. Yeah. Because there's too many games that are decided like this McLaurin thing, and then all of a sudden that might be a tough one with judgment call. But if you have people watching, they say, no, you guys communicated. He's close enough to the line. Take that flag out, something along those lines, because I just hate for games to be decided like that.
They got to expand real quick. They got to expand. I agree. They've started to do it this year. It's working well. They should expand that. Even in my opinion, things like where you clearly saw Ndamukong Suh whack Justin Fields in the helmet yesterday.
Nothing, and they
replayed
it.
They see it on the monitor. They throw a flag.
Yeah, they call in. They say, hey, this was a penalty. You got to call it here. Ndamukong Suh. We saw the tape. And then do it. But, yeah, I just hope they can do that because I think it'll make the game better and it'll make the experience better for fans. We're not going to have these calls that are deciding games that were missed.
I would love for the Bears to actually be involved in a game where it matters what the refs do. So
Megatron.
Vision for the future. It is estimated the average NFL official makes about $205,000 a year. Each official's pay will depend on the position they have on the crew as well as how long they have been in the league. Officials are considered to be part-time employees of the NFL. As a result, they don't receive insurance benefits.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty damn good part-time money.
Yeah, it is, right?
Listen, to who's ever in charge, I'm willing to do that gig for half, and I will not do anything else. I will.
Don't undercut the market, Carm. Come on.
We're leaving.
then,
yeah. Wait, you're going to do half that and leave here?
No.
$105,000 to work 20 games a year and hang out. I think
just say you want the full time.
I mean, huh? Am I missing something?
Yeah, you're undercutting everybody.
Okay, fine.
Doing a terrible negotiating job right now.
Okay, I'll do it for 96%.
Look, Rob's already in the chat saying I'll do one. He's demanding full time 150 plus travel expense. I think they do include.
Okay,
yeah, they do.
All right, I'm with Rob. Yeah. Me and Rob as a tandem.
Just go for the base of what
you are awful at negotiating.
I have no experience being an NFL ref. I have no qualifications. I think the offering half is.
You'd have to go to the school, the referee school.
Yeah. Brendan Henderson said, "Isn't that the problem though? We're basically saying that referees are prioritizing being dedicated to being a lawyer, or doctor over being a referee. That's a problem, I think." Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
pay them more to concentrate on being a referee, and I'm not saying it's easy. It's not at all.
Oh, it's a hard job.
But
I would just point my finger at everybody else. He should have made that call. I'm sorry. Anybody else see anything out here? I would be the most. I'd ask everybody for help.
By the way, I hated John Hussey's pool report. I don't know. I wasn't part of that call, so I don't know. And then the DPI, I don't know. That's not my job to see that.
Did you see the look that this dude just gave me when I said that I would put it on somebody else? It was like, I mean, he just gave me the look of death over there.
Yeah, just take some responsibility.
Accountability, right?
I mean, we're in. We're in make believe that. I'm never leaving. I'm never leaving this chair. I don't leave this chair when the show ends. I sit here till the next day for the most part. Everybody else goes home.
Except for this morning when you weren't here. It freaked me out. I was worried about you.
Yeah, Carm's okay. He's here. He's
Although
ready to go.
but I mean,
Lululemon and everything.
NBA referee though, that would be sweet. Just hang out with.
All right, I got
How about a
Speaking of the NBA, I got something I got to bring up from Friday that we didn't get to
yesterday. What about the tennis dude that just sits up there like on the perch? All you do is shake hands. Oh, I missed it. Okay, go to the tape.
You gotta say quiet, please, quiet.
Quiet, please. 15 love.
Yeah.
Quiet, please.
Rafa. It's a solid game.
Quiet.
Travel the world.
Quiet, please.
Quiet, please.
Quiet,
Ad read.
please.
Ad read coming.
We have an ad read. Quiet, please.
Get to go to Wimbledon.
Shut
get to go to
up.
the French Open. That'd be a good one.
Part of the reason why I think people get especially upset at officiating has to do with gambling, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, there you go. There's a
Every
good
play
job
counts.
there. Good job, Hoge.
But that's why we love DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. It's our go-to when betting on the NFL this holiday season. Oh, baby. You know what was nice? Cashing the Vikings NFC North title and the Chiefs AFC West title with 3 weeks to go. That felt good. The Bengals are next, baby. The Bengals are next. Check this out right now. Everyone can earn up to a 100% boost with DraftKings stepped-up same-game parlays. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, place a same-game parlay, combine multiple bets like which team will win, player props, point totals, and more. The more legs you add, the bigger the boost, the bigger your shot to win big. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code CHGO. Place a $5 bet on any NFL team to win their game. Get $150 in free bets if they do. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code CHGO. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details.
Quick shout out to the DraftKings app and live betting and the Cincinnati Bengals and the plus
nailed that.
175 money line.
By the way, you got bad advice from somebody in this
Yes.
room, too, that I'm not going to call out
it's
by name, Kevin
Kaduk,
Kaduk.
who bet $100 on the Bulls to win on Friday. Whoops. And he's like, it was right when the game ended.
Can I actually I'm going to defend Kevin for a second.
No. Why?
His advice was, you're going to live bet a game you haven't watched a single second of, which was actually a great point.
And I immediately said, yes.
No. Come over here. Come over here. Sit down and
go
sit down and defend yourself.
Yeah. And then I'll defend
You got some
myself.
explaining to
It's
do.
amazing. Okay, here we go.
So this was right when our show was over yesterday. Post game ended. Bengals Bengals Bucks is going on live.
Bengals at Bucks.
Bucks were up 11 third quarter.
I didn't tell him not to bet it, but I just said, what are you doing? You just literally rounded the corner, looked at the television, and said, I should bet this, which
100%.
I mean-
and here's what it was. It was an amazing quarterback against a washed Tom Brady. You want me to bet on Tom Brady and the terrible
But at the time,
Buccaneers?
like, the Bengals had 100 yards of total offense, so
I
they
didn't
weren't
need to
tearing
know
things
that.
up either.
No, I didn't need to know. All I needed to know is they're down 17-6. I'm getting plus 175. Are you
For the
kidding
money
me?
line. Just to bet the money line.
money
Bengals
line.
to win.
And the best part is, like, Lawrence probably put, like, $1.50 on
Oh
it.
yeah, of course. Yeah,
It was like a $2 bet.
It's it's all in moderation with my lacking account.
So as far as betting the Bulls, right?
Yeah, that was a mistake.
It was a mistake on Friday. I figured, okay, here's my reasoning.
Yeah, that was dumb.
I mean,
150.
Well, first
points.
off, they were
Sunday.
still 3 days away from completely embarrassing themselves against the Minnesota Timberwolves. But the Knicks were in town on Wednesday and Friday night. I figured, okay, they went out, they won on Wednesday night. They probably went out and had a good time in the clubs on Wednesday night and
Swift
Thursday
and Sons.
night.
You know where
Some
Jalen Brunson
mistakes.
went on Thursday?
Where?
He went to Stevenson and watched Stevenson High School beat
I
Lake
should've known
Forest.
that, I guess.
And
What goes on a Wednesday night in Chicago?
Hey man, you'd be surprised.
Hey, I'm sure
Get
there's
after it.
good sushi, good steaks, all kinds of good stuff
Yeah,
out
maybe
there.
they.
You know, 10 years ago I would have had a better answer for you. Right now I have no idea.
Absolutely none.
can
So
tell
I
you
just figured, okay, look, I'm going to maybe try to get my Chicago CHGO takeover entry fee back. I'll put $100 on the Bulls. Be a nice night.
What a
For
mistake.
about a quarter and a half, it looked maybe okay.
Did it?
Nope.
I don't even think it did for a quarter and a half.
And then it was even worse last night.
Just brutal.
They just don't play defense. It's terrible. Where did Carm go?
I
He
think
ceded his
left.
chair to me.
I think he
appreciate
left.
it.
That's
How
fine.
about the fact that, okay, when we launched 9 months ago,
He still has an ad read to do.
Yeah.
9 months ago, we would have said the Bulls had the most promise of any team, maybe the White
He's eating
Sox.
a bagel.
Now it is complete, and maybe the Bears were at the bottom. It is completely flipped.
Yeah, it is. It's been surprising to see the Bulls struggle, with the roster they got, but it's just good that we're witnessing Justin Fields. That's what I'm happy about, man. We finally got the quarterback.
That's what I took a picture at Crossroads. It was me and Braggs, and it just said, "Save us, Justin Fields. You're our only hope."
Yeah.
He is our savior.
Anyway, shout out to DraftKings, live betting, money lines of games I'm not watching at all. Plus money, I'm hitting it every time.
Carm just stuffed a bagel in his face, so I'm going to do his FOCO read for him. And then I have something from Friday night I have to get off my chest. Chicago, you've already got the best coverage for your favorite team, so get fitted out in the best sports gear around. FOCO has you covered from Soldier Field to the living room, north or south side, with hoodies, slippers, signs, bobbleheads, everything in between. Bears Christmas hats.
You did not need to do my FOCO read. I love my FOCO read, but yes, it's the greatest.
What kind of bagel you got there?
We got the everything bagel today. I just figured I was going to, hang out. And
you can get decked out like DeMar.
Decked out like DeMar. Perfect gift for the football fan, for any sports fan. The slippers, the signs, the bobbleheads, everything in between. FOCO. I love the people over at FOCO.
Someone said you went to go apply for the referee job.
Me and Rob are just buddies. There we go. FOCO.
FOCO. Here we go.
That's it.
My only thing with this is we gotta get some bigger sizes. This thing, I don't even have a big head, and this doesn't fit.
Let's see it, Carl.
This is trouble. This is not supposed to go.
That's a stocking.
This is a stocking.
Well, mine's a hat. Yours is a stocking.
Oh, okay. Well,
it's not gonna fit.
There we
the
go.
best I can do right now.
Okay. We have a major epidemic going on at sporting events that I've noticed. And it's gotten worse, I think, post-pandemic. Do people not understand when a game is going on, when there's an actual play happening, you don't go to your seat? It drives me crazy.
Oh, yeah.
The aisle etiquette
It's terrible.
is so bad. Friday night at the Bulls game, I could not believe it. You can't wait for a whistle. You have to make everybody in row 8 stand up so you can get to your seat while Derrick Rose is shooting a three. Like, what's happening here? Okay. It's unbelievable.
So I abided by the aisle etiquette. I was standing in the tunnel, and the usher came and said, "Do you have a seat here? Let me see your ticket." I said, "Oh, I'm just waiting for the whistle." He said, "This isn't a Blackhawks game. Just go ahead."
Wow.
Okay.
That's a fireable offense
So
right there.
now I got usher
Oh,
problems.
Andy Frayne, where are you at?
To me, that's like the number one job as an usher is to help guide people when they should and should not be going to their seats, which, by the way, is common sense. Any human should know that.
So let me just, guys, this is near and dear in my heart.
Are you an Andy Frayne back in the
No, but 1992, my first job ever, selling upper deck Dove bars at then brand new Comiskey Park. I moved up the food chain from Dove bars to cotton candy to hot dog to peanuts to the big day at Wrigley when they give you the blue tub and you're selling the old style. It took me 7 years to get there. Now I am an expert in walking down those aisles and making sure that fans have their beverage and they can see the product on the field. And I give the vendors, you actually are allowed to be in the way of the fans because you are providing a very important frosty beverage that they need.
That's different. I don't have a problem with the vendors.
Totally different.
Yeah.
Like and fans would yell at me, "Can you kneel down?" No, I cannot kneel down. I absolutely cannot. This body needs to be in shape. I'm not going to break myself so you can see.
I do have extra admiration and maybe an extra tip for those vendors that I do know by face and maybe sometimes name who do make an effort to kneel down or get, to stay out of the way.
Tip your vendors. Lloyd Rutsky, the greatest vendor of all time, the Jordan of all vendors, who's now retired. He deserved that extra, although I don't think he ever got down. But Lee Cook, the general who's out there, who you will see at every game, you hook my guy up.
The dude that looked like, the big guy.
That's William, who passed away.
Glasses, right?
Yes, the greatest.
He was the one that looked exactly like Scottie Pippen.
Yeah, what about that guy?
That's Claude Jones.
This is
Claude knows them all, man.
Claude had a good run. It kind of went sideways for Claude at different points in time. I hope he's doing great now. But
what about the guy at Wrigley with the long hair? That white guy with the long hair. He looked like an old metalhead.
You're talking about Roger Sosner.
Are you making? Is this like the guy with the random tennis names?
We hung out with these guys.
I've worked there for 15 years. I know these are my people. So what you're talking about?
Carm served me a beer at the 2008 blackout game.
Yes, and then I was on the field interviewing.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, he's got some stories about double
have stories
dipping.
around that one.
Did you used to serve the glizzies?
Oh, come on now.
Well, I don't know what that is, but I'm
we're not
nervous.
going- nope.
The glizzies.
No.
What are the glizzies?
Nope.
But that was that day. It was.
I don't know what
going
that
on?
is either, but Woot loves it.
The glizzies.
What are the glizzies?
That is the beer with a hot dog straw situation.
Oh,
from
yeah,
this
that thing that went
summer.
viral this summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, the glizzy straw with the guy.
No, thank you.
The guy poked a hole in.
Yeah,
in
and he drank the
Oh.
beer through the hot dog.
the glizzy.
Okay. I thought we were in a more sexual place.
Well,
than-
that
I don't know what's going on. I mean, to this level, hot dogs and straws and poking things through. I mean,
You guys are a little older than me, so maybe that's why.
okay.
I'm
Yaga.
Yaga the glizzy. Okay.
See, everybody in there gets it. That's why they're laughing out loud, man.
Gross. Ooh. Yeah. My point is this. This is important. If you are a sports fan, it is your job to. For those who don't go to games often, you have to teach this. You do not walk across the aisle when there is action going on. And by the way, for you sitting on the aisle where you were in section 314, row 6 or whatever it was, you should have said no. You're not going until no, you will wait. We're not gonna.
That's how fights start.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Then you ended up getting snuffed in the face.
Well, you do have to assess the level of crazy that's on that aisle.
Listen,
There's a lot of crazy. It's like me on the
America,
road
man.
right now,
We got
too.
a bunch of crazy people.
Road rage right now is a
Yeah.
problem. If some jerk's going to be on the road, I'm going to be like, I don't like you, but I'm definitely not flicking you off right now because you don't know what's on the other end of that.
No flicking off. You can do it nicely. Hey, can you wait until play is stopped
No.
before you? No, you can't. Okay. if it's 6'5" Woot staring out.
6'5".
What are you?
6'8".
6'6.5".
Oh, my bad. Okay.
Come on, man.
If it's 6
with no shoes on.
Okay.
Wow.
6'6.5" Woot coming at me. No, I can. Okay. All right. There you go. I'd be like, but come on now. This is something. I think it's I honestly think it's a whole societal thing. Like, it is not about
100%.
you at every second of every day.
No, but no. Now it's 2022. Everyone thinks everything is about themselves.
Right. Hey, and if you're like in row 10, at the UC, say on the lower level, that means there's 9 rows behind you that you are altering all of their views so you can get to your seat after you went to get your beer or go to the bathroom, whatever. No.
But it's almost like oblivious. Like they're
Yeah.
not even aware that there's a
Which
game
is-
going
which is-
on, which is like, why are you here then?
Which is why you can say it nicely. Hey, we wait and this is what we do as fans. We wait until the action stops so we can enjoy the festivities, the action.
That's the problem with like basketball, for example. Basketball is like a very social sport. Like people just go, I just want to go to the game. I'm not really a fan. If you're a Bears fan in that weather, you go because you love the Bears and you love football.
That's true.
Baseball sometimes is a fair weather thing, right? People that go to Wrigley Field is go to Cubby Bear and have a couple
Agreed.
beers and whatnot.
But to me, it's even worse in baseball and football games because, like, in baseball, the actual action is like
1 second.
1 second.
Yeah.
Unless the ball gets hit and you got a triple, and then maybe it's 10 seconds. So you have ample amount of time to just – and even, like, I'll come down the aisle, like, and the guy's about to pitch. I'll stop and crouch. Okay, there's the ball. And then I'll go the rest of the way. Football, same thing. What's the average play? 7 seconds? 7-8 seconds?
Right.
And then there's a 40-second play clock. Like, so basketball, I sort of get how there's more action going back and forth. Hockey is why they actually will hold you because
It never
there's even
stops.
fewer stops.
Yeah.
But come on, guys. It's just
yeah, it's
Well,
tough.
do
Just
your-
don't get into a fight with anyone about it, Carm.
If there's one thing that we want to do here at CHGO, amongst everything else, actually, but it would be amazing if we could really move fan etiquette into a positive direction. We do not, as a CHGO employee, somebody who enjoys the content, we do not walk in front of you in the middle of the action. That is so
He
unbelievably
was walking in
sacrilegious.
front of the TV yesterday all the time.
ooh, that's another one.
Did.
I called you out on that 2 weeks ago too. You did it right mid-play.
Look at etiquette police over here, and he's walking in front of the 70 inch.
So this is
my bagels.
This is an excellent job by you right now because I've never I needed that. I will be more cognizant because you brought it up of the actual TV when we're watching the game. I will pay attention to that better. That's not in my mindset. Okay. So I will take that feedback and not take it personal, even as I'm out here trying to make the world a better place.
You just have to practice what you preach, though, Carm. That's the thing I'm saying.
Okay.
Can't be a hypocrite out here.
I'm just not used to having a bunch of people when I'm watching the game.
My wife knows that. She pauses for the action. She knows. And then.
It's a bad job. It's a bad job. I got to wear it.
You're fully accountable?
I'm fully accountable. I'm not. I'm pointing the thumb. That's on me. You're absolutely right.
You know what? You are a true Jakobi Meyers.
Yes,
is what you are.
That's right.
You are not a Gio, but you are not a Gio Bernard.
Ooh.
Yikes.
How about that though, Giovani Bernard? Right? Like just not taking accountability.
Well, that was the last thing we were going to talk about on the show today. I think so.
I forget if we have that cut. I don't think I sent it to Lauren. So
well, it's okay. We can just discuss it. So a couple things happened yesterday that I know these guys wanted to talk about before we get out of here. But one, which is how we start the show, talking about the crazy Patriots-Raiders game. Jakobi Meyers was the one that threw that last lateral backwards that Chandler Jones picked off.
Got more suits than Jakobi and Meyers. Shout out to the Beastie Boys.
Wow.
Lawrence. Ooh. With them bars.
I love the Beastie Boys. Beastie Boys are sweet. All right. But to his credit, Jakobi Meyers answered multiple tough questions all in a row. And it was one of those situations where it was kind of like the reporters were asking the same question 7 different ways.
Just trying to get under his skin and get a response.
I mean, I think they were trying to – I think fairly the reporters were trying to understand, like, was the play supposed to be a lateral? Was it not? And Jakobi was like taking blame. No, it wasn't. No one was supposed to lateral. It wasn't Ramondre Stevenson's fault who had the first lateral. Like, I just got to know better situational awareness. Can't happen. He handled it perfectly. Then there was what happened in Tampa with Gio Bernard. Carm, I don't know if you want to explain this a little bit more. I think this is a little bit murkier. I'm not totally putting it on Gio Bernard. The whole thing I don't know is handled well.
So,
do we want to play it?
Yeah, sure.
If you got it.
Okay, hold on. Give me a minute. Yeah, it's not great.
So Giovani Bernard's been hurt this year, and so he hasn't been speaking a whole lot to the media. But which
we should point out, you are not allowed to talk to the media when you don't practice.
Right.
It's a league rule.
And he had the key faux pas, if you will, in the Buccaneers' loss yesterday. So they wanted to talk to him, and he wanted to leave and not speak because his family was waiting for him, as you'll hear in a second here. And this clip that we're about to play has 2.6 million views, which is just
that's kind of crazy.
It's wild as to how the world works right now. But I did not particularly like some things about this clip, mainly the conversation that they were having with him beforehand. Like, if you have to have some level of respect for the people that you work with each day, and when you're having a conversation, hey, will you talk? And he's pushing back on that. That does not belong on the internet. It really doesn't. But you can also make the argument that everything's free game. You're in the locker room. So here you go.
I'll talk to you this week.
Well, you were injured all year.
What have you done for us to talk to you about all year? I talked to you Tuesday. Don't say you're not talking because I didn't talk to you all year.
You were also injured most of the season too.
Just relax. Can I go to my family that I have outside? And
you
all
can.
Of a sudden now?
Just don't say we didn't talk to you all year.
We just wanted to ask for your perspective on what happened there.
You're involved in one of the biggest plays of the game.
Okay.
Thank you, Jew.
I appreciate your time. We do.
We won't hold you.
We would have talked to you in the season, but also you were injured.
Just tell us what occurred on the punt.
Miscommunication, that's all it was on my part. I take complete fault for that.
Was it a fake?
I don't know. It was complete fault. My fault. That's it.
Is this something the team hasn't practiced
It's
this
all
week?
me. All me. That's something I did wrong, and that's all.
So you
It
were
was all
aware?
on me. Yep, number 25 out there, that was me. I was the one that did it.
But were you aware
It
that
was
it was
just
a
me.
fake?
Yeah, I messed up.
I understand that, but we're just asking if you knew it was.
I
We
messed
just
up.
didn't know if it was a communication
Yeah, I
breakdown.
messed up.
Thanks, Jew.
Yep. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Corey, As a former player, I'm interested to hear.
Yeah,
what you think
I
about
think
this.
that rubs me the wrong way. Just like because listen, he's been hurt all year. Maybe he's disappointed about his role in there and how things have panned out. I get it, right? But you're in the NFL, right? And your job as a player is to communicate with the media, right? Because fans want to know everything that's going on after the game. These type of questions, and you have to take your lumps. If you messed up, you just explain exactly what happened, right? Because if you're having a good game, you'd want to talk about it, right? And in life, there's ups and downs. There's bad things that happen. There are great things. So you just have to take the lumps. Like Brandon Bostic, who played for the Packers, remember he dropped that ball on the onside kick when Green Bay had the game on lock against
in the
Seattle,
NFC Championship
right?
game, yeah.
And after the game, they talked to him. I mean, every media member, they said, hey, he's like, I take full responsibility for this. We would have won the game if I didn't drop it. That's on me. I have to do a better job. I feel like I let my teammates down. And that's what you got to do. You got to be a man. You got to take accountability for what you did. Giovani Bernard, I don't know. It just rubbed me the wrong way. Like he was just trying to shush him. You know, like we try to shush him. No, I did it. Nope. And it's like, bro, just talk and just say, hey, I need to make a better play on that. I fumbled it. I didn't do my job. I got to do better for my team. I feel like I let him down. You just have to take accountability. Yeah. And that's the main problem, just his demeanor. Everybody has family that comes to games. So for him to say that, like every week I had family come. But it's about this, like if you have to talk to the media, you talk to them. That's your job. And then when you're done, you go see your family. So 5 minutes of his time is really affecting that family time.
Right. And I would also say on the other side of it, the media side, there are certain people in the media of which the people on this set are not one of, even though Mubs is saying that me and Hoge would do that because we wouldn't. But there are certain people in the media, as we just saw right there, who make it personal. You didn't do this. Don't say this. None of that needs to happen.
Yeah. And it did kind of sound to me like there was some of that going on there. And I don't know the context of Gio Bernard. I've never covered Gio Bernard. I don't know if there's a history there with him not talking to the media or having things with those reporters. No idea. And I think there's probably some more context that needs to be provided. But certainly the way those reporters were coming off there at the beginning.
Rough.
Chill
out.
I didn't think that was a good look for them. Honestly, I think if Gio Bernard had just answered the questions,
then it would have been
respectfully, he would have come off like the clear winner in that whole exchange.
Exactly.
Right.
Because you know there's going to be like I've dealt with people in the media that will try to poke you and ask questions, but listen, you just have to have a response like a response like you would to anybody else, and then you take the higher road. Like it doesn't look good when you start getting in a verbal battle with a media member or anything like that. Because there's some people that push the line. Like for years, Jim Rome, right, talking about
Jim Everett?
Jim Everett called him Chrissy.
Yeah.
You know, things like that. Like sometimes the media members try to poke, players and get a response from them because they want that clip-worthy thing, and they were the reporter that broke it. But
I just think, why did Jenna Lane post that video? That's what I think. Like,
Yeah,
why are you
and I think
posting that?
Yeah, I don't know. I think there was
Like, how did that make you look better, Jenna? What are we doing?
Well, and what's interesting too is I think if she cuts it to just Gio kind of being short with his answers, it just makes him look bad. Like
Right. Instead, now it's more about the reporter versus athlete thing, and it's a whole different story.
I don't know the answer to that. And I think there's obviously some more context. We're getting a lot of comments, and I think it was poorly handled by the reporters too. To be honest with you,
I did not.
But as a player, you just say what happened, and then you keep it moving, right? And then it makes that reporter, like you said, look bad. So you never want to be the person. Just take the higher road.
I think once the interview started, the questions were fair, and they were just trying to get an answer. I don't even know the context of this play, to be honest with you. I haven't gotten this far. There was some punt late in the game, and I think they were trying to figure out if Gio Bernard actually knew what was supposed to be happening on the play. And that's what I think they were trying to get at. So I think once the interview started, it was all fine by the reporters, and I think he's the one that handled it poorly from that point. But, yeah, the whole interaction. And also, Braggs brought up a point in there, too, about the PR guy in the background.
Just ask the question.
Which I think at that point was fair, but he probably could have intervened earlier and set the whole thing up.
Every team has a PR guy that kind of would be like, hey,
Gio,
check people.
Gio, they're going to want to talk to you today.
Yeah.
But
they'll check reporters.
Yeah.
Our PR guys, will check.
Yeah.
Guys.
No. Listen, you got to come. You got to come correct on both sides here. I would just say this: at least from my perspective, anybody who got into this business, they didn't get into it on our side to get rich, they do it because you love the sport, you appreciate athletes, and then all of a sudden you get in it, and maybe your feelings get hurt, or it's not as great as you once thought it was, and so then all of a sudden it becomes like sort of this adversarial thing. If you don't like to cover athletes and do this, then to me, in my mind, it's like you shouldn't be doing this because there's a zillion people that want to do it. It should in my mind, it should just never be adversarial between this side and when you were playing.
It's like a fine line, like not ripping somebody too much, where critiquing somebody, but doing it in the right way. Because there's some people that absolutely rip everybody and their mother out there, and I know people feel a certain type of way sometimes when people that didn't play the game are really critical on people's performance, like critical to the point where you're like making it personal.
Right, it's personal, and that's
like Skip Bayless at times,
definitely gets personal.
Yeah.
And I think this is kind of getting really into the weeds here, but like 2 rules I like to follow is 1, never ever make it personal. Right, you got to keep it professional. It should never be personal. If one guy's, making it personal back to you, you just got to kind of brush it off and whatever. The other thing too that I try to keep in perspective, which is not easy because these are livelihoods. What I do for a living. As the player, this is what you do for a living, right? Like, this actually is important, but at the same time, we are all in the sports world.
Right.
And if you try to keep that in perspective too, that like, this isn't going to last forever. We're in the, I think someone calls it like the toy box of life.
Yep.
Right? Like, being able to play sports, cover sports, whatever.
We're not interviewing the president about the pandemic.
Exactly. So I think you got to kind of keep that perspective too, that like whatever happened in this game, whatever Gio Bernard may have done right or wrong, it's a good way to put it. Like, we're not talking about some war happening overseas where you got to like get to the bottom of the most, minute detail. You got to keep that perspective too, that this is all fun. Right. It's supposed to be.
We're in pretend land. I get that it means a lot to a lot of people. I get it. And it means a lot to me. However, we got to have some level of perspective.
Yes.
Yeah. We are talking about a football game or a basketball game or whatever.
We got into that with Cody Parkey too, with like how off the rails that whole thing went. And it meant a lot to a lot of people. But at the same time too, it's like, okay, it is just a field.
And it's just sitting in the seat. It can be tricky because if you say that so-and-so, he sucks, which might actually be factually correct, there might be a nicer way to say that than in that way where it doesn't feel as personal. But in my spot, it's not personal. It's just stating an obvious thing where for whoever is consuming, it's like, yeah, that's exactly right. So at least Carm has the right perspective on that dude.
Exactly.
But there's also, a human being on the other side of it, which sometimes for me at least it's like, okay, let's say it exactly how perfectly I want to say it, so no one's offended yet we get the point out there. It's not that easy.
We don't always have to go all the way down this road, but the Cody Parkey thing, the reason why I just brought that up is because it was really a fascinating social experiment for what we're talking about. Not only just the interviews between journalists and the player, but also like you had the fan videos that came out on social media where they're like literally talking about like
hunting him down,
harming the player, which is way too far and completely not acceptable on any level at any time. And on the other end, you had the player who is basically like, yeah, I'm good. I get to go home to my dog tonight. And if I was another player in the locker room, like if I'm Corey Wootton, I'm like, no, man, it means more than that.
Yeah.
Like, it still means more. Like, yes, it's still sports, but, like, this is still our livelihood. We're putting in all this work from April on. You can't just say I'm going home to my dog. Like, so there's that's why I'm saying there's a balance to it that's tough sometimes to find that line. And I think that specific play brought out, like, the all extremes of it at once.
Did he say that?
And I think it told you everything you need to know about his love and passion for football.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like he was in it because he was good at kicking, and obviously I don't know that play the doink, but there's a lot of guys like that, right? Like that when there's one particular thing that happens, they all of a sudden get out of the league because maybe it wasn't that important to them, So, And back to what we were talking about with reporters. So when I played, like, there were some people that, like, you kind of tread lightly when you're like, oh, this guy wants to do an interview or this person, and you kind of don't want to do it. But, you know, guys like you and Johns and Fishbane, you know, I'd always want to talk to because the interviews were good, and they never came off a different way, you know, and rubbed you the wrong way. But there were some guys, don't want to name any names, but that you're just like, you almost try to avoid a little bit, right? Like, you'd see them coming around, and they wanted to do a one-on-one interview, and you're like, I don't know, man. Like, just the way that the questions are worded and the way they try to make you look, and it's just uncomfortable. And I think that's finding the balance where you're asking the important questions, but not overstepping where you're like, oh, I'm making this personal.
Right. Well, that's the balance. Like, you got to come in with, let's have a set a nice tone, and then you can get to the question that is like maybe not the most comfortable to answer, but people want to know.
Because, like, realistically, we could go to everyone on the D-line and say, oh, yeah, you guys haven't been getting pressure at all. Like, what's the issue? And they'd be like, oh, really? Like, yeah, like, oh, you're trying to come at me. Like, you know, they would take that personally. So
what's it going to take for you guys to get a sack?
Yeah, you'd be like, well, you know. And there are some reporters that would ask questions like, yeah, you guys have, you know, for example, like if they were like, hey, Hassan Reddick has or not Hassan Reddick. Is his name?
Yeah.
Hassan Reddick. Yeah, Hassan Reddick has 10.5 sacks. You guys have only had 8.5 as a D-line. What do you think the issue is? You know, like a question.
What does that say about the defensive line? Says we suck, dude. What do you want me to? What do you want me to
I
say?
mean, that's a good example because it's like that's unnecessary to bring
But
up.
there's
like,
a question
put that in your piece if you're going to bring it up, just like you brought it up yesterday on the show. But like,
personally,
the question could just be like, "Hey, what are you guys working on to create more pressure?"
Yeah, and even like, I'm not saying that I'm the master at this because clearly I'm not, but like I said to Dom Rob recently, like, you know, for yourself, goal wise, like, what do you want to see happen? And he just like big size, like, we get to the quarterback, like, you know, like
he's like I know what I need to do.
Like, I haven't touched the quarterback since week 1, and it is weighing on me.
It's like that 2013 season, like 2012, we were like top 5 defense, and we basically had the same personnel in 2013, with the exception of Urlacher. It went dead last. Our pressure was it wasn't like this, but we definitely took a step backwards, and our defense was bad. And like every game, it was like, you just had to face the media, you know, when you're not performing, you just say, listen, we need to do a better job, and accountability. Like, it's tough because you know, and you're trying everything you can to do better and work together as a team, but it's just not working out. So you just have to take accountability, take your lumps, and, hey, you know, the good season the year before, we talked to the media, everything was all good, all our interceptions, all our turnovers, all the sacks. Wasn't the same the next year, but you just got to man up and face the lights.
Yeah.
It's a fun conversation, and it's worth having every once in a while. I think a lot of times we tend to care about this stuff more than the fans do, if that makes sense. But I also see the comments here, and I think fans do care about it to a certain extent. It's just very interesting yesterday seeing those two opposite interviews happen between Jakobi Meyers and Gio Bernard, two players that have been in the league. Jakobi Meyers' story is actually pretty awesome, and it kind of sucks that of all the players on that team, that's what happened to.
He's a free agent, is he not?
I don't know off the top of my head.
I think he is.
Maybe. Yeah. Let's get to one super chat here. Vibin with
the dogs.
The dogs. See, I couldn't even read that. Good for you.
And you have glasses.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, sometimes spaces go a long way. You know, that's all I'm saying.
You need to go to your eye doctor, man.
I was just having a tough time figuring out that one word.
He is a free agent. I'll take him. Let's go, Jakobi. You want to be
Myers,
a Bear.
come to Chicago.
Just don't lateral it like that.
Yeah. You learned your lesson. You're good. You're welcome here.
Super Chat 499 saying the trainers need to tell Justin to drink water and stretch before each game, and that'll help with his cramping issues. I appreciated Justin's press conference. Couple topics, but this was one of them. He goes, yeah, man, I didn't get an IV before the game. I didn't think I needed it. It was cold out. Good learning lessons. I'm going to get an IV before every game now.
But you actually...
Why do you need an IV before the game? A
lot of people do that.
Really?
I used to do that quite a bit.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, some people are prone to cramping. And especially, people don't realize, think about it, in the Falcons game, right, indoor, he cramped as well.
Yes.
It gets really hot in domes, especially
That's why we had that whole...
Did you not drink water?
No, but the thing is, you can't just drink water. You got to drink the salts and the electrolytes. That's the problem sometimes. People think they can just drink water, but when you don't drink the salt with it,
you got to get that brick juice.
Brick juice.
Yeah.
Chicken
Yaga.
broth.
Yaga.
Yaga.
But yeah, there's a lot of people like in the cold. I don't think people realize how many calories you actually burn because you're trying to stay warm.
Yeah.
And you can actually cramp more in the cold.
Well, especially because like you don't feel as thirsty in cold weather versus hot weather. It's like easier. I go through this all the time.
Yeah.
It's like way easier to drink a ton of fluids in the summer than it is winter.
Yep.
And you
Some
end up
people
getting
don't hydrate like
you
they
get
should.
more dehydrated.
But he's got to get IVs. He's got to do the gator lights, the whole bit.
I might have to get an IV tonight before Aguayo's match. Big one
Oh,
tonight. Big
Don't
one.
cramp.
Big one tonight with Aguayo, 9 p.m.
You got your CBD stuff?
Get the brick juice.
You know I got my next Evo.
All right, real quick, because they are requesting it. You got to tell the story in like 3 minutes.
Okay, 3-minute quick story. So
Oh gosh.
this is a good one. I hope this does. I think this will be supported throughout the company. But so I'm living at home. All right, it's college years, and
You're living
whatever.
at home in college.
In the summer?
Yeah, this is college years. Okay, so I'm living at home. My
Already a problem.
right. So well, I mean, this is the summertime. I'm coming,
Okay.
I'm coming back from Iowa. It's the summertime. The full story. Just quickly, my mom passed away young. My dad remarries 5 years later, so I'm in this new house with this new woman, the whole thing, and she's like trying to make me comfortable. She's like, "Are you cold tonight? Would you like a bathrobe?" And I was like, "Sure, you could give me a bathrobe." And I just was trying to be nice on the bathrobe. So what did I do with that bathrobe? I took my 12-inch Carm University of Iowa bong apparatus and I wrapped it in the bathrobe and I put it in the drawer. With my little,
I thought you were gonna say like 12-inch TV or something.
No, we're
back
good.
in
I
the
think we're
day.
okay here. This, it's the internet. So I put it in the drawer. I come home one night. By the way, for the people that didn't want this story, you were lying. So that I come home one night. I walk into my dad's little office and he's wearing the bathrobe.
Oh boy,
Got the full red bathrobe on, and I'm just like, I walk in and I'm like, he's like, hey Mark, found my bathrobe. I was like, yeah, you sure did. And
wait, so she gave you his bathrobe?
she gave me his bathrobe. Apparently, the dude had never worn the bathrobe in his life, Papa Fred. Now, all of a sudden, he's wearing the bathrobe. And so I'm like, what was that stuff in there? I'm like, that's what they call an incense burner, Dad. It's it makes the room smell
Was he
nice.
buying it?
He's like, he sort of for a second bought it. He's like, okay. So then I go and like, where is my stuff? And like, it's just literally like on the ground in the bedroom. Like there's, just sitting there. He just like left it. And so the next day we're, breakfast time. It was, so Mark, is there a lot of drugs at Iowa?
Dazed and confused too.
And I
Starring Mark
said, well, listen, I don't think it's a big deal that I'm not, whatever. I've smoked marijuana. It's I don't think that's a huge deal.
You said I didn't inhale, right?
Yeah, right. And good old Adele, who I was just starting to know, and they've been married 30 years now. She's like, well, we know that. I'm like, okay, well then it's all out there. Young Carm is enjoying his Iowa
You
time.
were a savage. I thought you would be, the type of guy that would be home at 10 o'clock every night. You had a bong, apparatus. You were a Hawkeye. I love it, man.
I mean, that tennis racket cover had my 2-footer back in the day.
Carm.
Awesome.
little multiple use of the pro stuff. Hoge's but that's back in the day. I'm more professional Carm these
So you
days.
just have different robes now.
Right. I get the velvet at home now.
Not a robe guy.
It's weird. It's
It's kind of weird.
the robe is like nice once in a blue moon.
It's
If
like
you're
80s movie, where you get the mail in your
But
robe.
like my
and-
problem with the robe is you're still like freezing cold from the shins down,
no, you gotta have a sock on. You gotta
right? You still gotta have.
the sock guy.
You gotta. Oh my God, my Frank O'Hara socks today. You gotta have the sock on, and then you get the robe, and then you lay on the couch, and you get the.
Midnight.
Yeah, little Mountain Dew, midnight HBO.
That's exactly right.
Like West Virginia, man. They
Let-
put that in the baby bottle.
Let's go, Chubbs.
Yeah.
You come on over. We can.
Careful, you watch that midnight HBO. The stepmom with the robe story goes a little different.
Quick movie recommendation. Anybody see Midnight Express on the set? Midnight Express.
No,
Oh. Lawrence? No.
What is that?
Hashish, Turkey, prisons. It's an unbelievable movie.
Yes, sir.
is it worth watching?
Yes, it is.
Underrated.
Underrated. Intense as all hell. And the one particular scene in there when Never mind. It's something. Rivkey. Midnight Express.
Okay.
Hot tip.
Hey, so real quick before we get out of here, Alex Leatherwood, right? Not an option at tackle. Agree? I think everybody knows he's not an option at tackle.
I mean, they pulled him, they didn't put him back in.
So at this point, right, Tevin Jenkins being down, we need to test him out at guard to see if he
I
can
wouldn't
be a
hate to
fit.
see that, yeah.
Just because we're picking up his contract, so we have to see if he's going to be an option at guard. Because I just don't think he has the footwork for tackle.
Okay, but we would agree that Hassan Reddick is elite, right?
He
had
is,
a tough matchup.
But Riley Reif did a lot better. A guy that's
true.
aging in here.
Yep.
And that's the one thing, like Riley Reif, right? I understand they've wanted to play the young guys, but at some point you have to look at it, right? Age is nothing but a number, right? If he's out there giving you the best chance for your quarterback and to win games, clean pocket, and he's locking down that right side, why not play him? Because I thought from the beginning, I played against Riley Reif. He's a solid player. He's tough. He's strong. He's smart. I don't understand why they haven't been playing him since the beginning of the season.
But they're not going to have him next year, right?
But I understand that. But at the same point, we saw what happened on, with Leatherwood, right? It was a lot different when Riley Reif was out there.
I think, and we've seen this a few times now. Who else were they rotating? With Larry Borum. Because they eventually got to, you're trying to get Larry Borum to be your future right tackle. It doesn't work out. That's when they start putting Riley Reif in there. And then eventually they just sided towards, sorry, Larry, you're not the guy anymore because we got to protect Fields. It's kind of the same thing. And now that's going to happen. But that gets to Leatherwood at guard, same conversation. Do you trust Schofield more?
I don't know. I mean, he's gotten worked in some games against some talented defensive linemen. But I think at this point, Leatherwood has strength. In the run game, he looked very good.
I thought he did too before that one bad play.
That's why I think as guard, it would be a better fit, just like Tevin Jenkins, right? We wanted to try him at tackle, but I think he could be a better fit inside because it's less speed inside, right? Like Reddick's a fast guy. Guys off the edge are fast. Inside, it's a lot easier.
I'm 1,000% with you. Right guard, Leatherwood, let's go. I
do find it interesting the short leashes they have had with some young players at times, despite their willingness to play young players. And did you listen to Eberflus' press conference? Did you get a chance to listen to it?
I haven't listened to it. That's a bad job by me. That's a low.
Sorry, go back and listen to when he gets asked about Velus Jones' fumble.
I did hear that.
It was like, don't like it. I don't like it at all. Like in the way before, I think Jason Leisure might have followed up, but based on that first answer, I was in my head. I'm going, are they just gonna cut him tomorrow? Like it briefly entered my mind, like they might just be done. And then the follow up question, and then he kind of said, "Well, we know he can do it. He's got to stay positive. We know he's capable of doing it." I'm like, okay, fine. Like because the first answer was like that was a pretty strong reaction to a fumble.
Well, that's the challenging calculus for them in these final three games, which is, I mean, I'd like to see Alex Leatherwood play more left tackle just because, whatever, you're winning doesn't matter at this point, and let's see or right tackle. Let's see if he can do it. On the other hand, you're trying to maximize for Justin Fields. So
you don't want him to get destroyed.
You don't want him to get destroyed, so putting a veteran out there who makes him safer and he can actually develop, that's probably more important. I think that's an easy argument, which is why I quickly was like, okay, fine, put Leatherwood at guard. But with Velus, not as important because he's not going to get him killed.
Yeah.
But you also...
But don't you think time and time again, like they look at age too much when they're like, well, if somebody is significantly better than somebody, it's not an even playing field. You have to go with the better player, right or wrong. Right, if one person is significantly better than the other, it doesn't matter if he's not going to be here next year or his age.
And you could speak this better too, but I think that's got to be a locker room loser. Everybody else knows that this dude's better. How come you're not playing him?
Exactly. Well, this is his 12th year. Okay.
Yeah.
But what does that matter? Is he giving you the best chance to win and keep Justin Fields clean?
Right.
Yes. So play him.
Right.
Hey, before we get out of here, a couple notes from Matt Eberflus' press conference at House Hall. Bears running back Khalil Herbert expected to be removed from injured reserve this week and return to practice. He's missed the last 4 games with a hip injury, that coming from Larry Meyers, so he could potentially play this week. Just because he returns to practice does not mean he's activated. They have a little window to work with there. Nicholas Moriano just saying we will see when it comes to Jack Sanborn's ankle injury, so not much to add there. There was more encouraging news on Tevin Jenkins. He's out of the hospital. He's meeting with a couple of specialists, but it does not seem like that is as terribly concerning as it certainly seemed like yesterday when he was getting taken off on a stretcher and going to the hospital.
Hoping it's the bad stinger that.
Yeah, maybe that's what it ends up being.
That's what I'm hoping.
So
throw specialists out there. That's not nothing.
Well, they're getting things.
Yeah, they're just trying to figure out what's going on there.
So and there's a guy with a back injury problem. So all the best to Teva Jenkins.
Greg Braggs is trolling you with his finally we have a running back, just so you notice that before we go.
And don't you have to kind of tread with caution here with Herbert, right? Like he's going to be an option next year. Like so you don't want to rush him back for something that doesn't matter.
True.
So I think you just have to play like a lot of these situations.
I'd love to see him cut actually up through the tackles.
How many games this
Braggs?
How many games this year, Hoge, has David Montgomery had a run for over 20 yards?
That I don't know off the top of my head. Not many.
I wouldn't think you would. What's the guess?
I would say 3.
3?
I think he's had a couple 30, right?
He hasn't had a 30. His longest run this year is 28 yards.
Yeah. Okay.
But
I'm saying over 20. I'm saying
Herbert's more of the home run hitter, no question.
Over. How many games do you think he's had a run over 20?
How many runs for first downs?
How many linebackers has he stonewalled coming in on blitzes?
Yeah.
How many good passes he caught out of the backfield?
I am on the David Montgomery.
No, you don't sound like it.
I'm on the David. I just thought this stood out to me because I was looking at, as I was doing my grades yesterday, check out the grades, become a diehard. I was just looking at, oh, wow, his longest run yesterday was 9 yards. And then I went back through his whole game log, like, well, when's the last time that he didn't have a game where he didn't cross double digits in a run?
Yeah.
Last week. Okay, 3 weeks ago he did. Well, how many games did he have where he didn't bust 20? He's done it one time this year. He's had one 28-yard run, and maybe there's some, but that's it. That's a little off.
Yeah.
That's a little off.
Yeah, but
you need a little bit more.
But I just feel like you know what you're getting with him.
You do.
Yeah,
you do.
So that's why
100%.
it's going to be interesting to see how they bring him back.
Yep, and that's why I called dirty yards. He picks up the dirty yards. He picks up the
He's
hard
old
yards.
school. Yeah. He's old school.
Picks up the hard
tough
yards.
guy.
All right, we're out of here. Woot, thanks so much for hanging out with us last couple
man.
days
Woot,
for as long as you have. A lot of great stuff. He'll be back with us on Christmas Eve as we cover the Bills game coming up. Doesn't get any easier this week, but another fun quarterback matchup, Josh Allen versus Justin Fields. Kind of similar storylines again.
So we want Justin Fields to be, right?
Yeah.
Al-Qadim Muhammad is fired up to take down Josh Allen.
Did he play yesterday?
Oh, my God. Please stop talking.
48%. Bye.
All right.
Lawrence is gonna
follow us on Twitter. Make sure you go check out. No, I got a couple things we got to cover here. Make sure you check out our film breakdown at CHGO_Bears. I think it's going up right now if it's not already up. So go check that out. We broke down a few plays. And also, Die Hard Happy Hour is happening. I said yesterday it was Tuesday. It's going to be Wednesday. Okay, so Wednesday evening for all our diehards. Zoom conversation, grab a beverage, jump on with us. Nick and Will are going to headline it. Chicago Audible type situation with the Die Hard Happy Hour happening Wednesday night at 8:15 Central Time. You have to be a diehard, so go sign up, allchgo.com/diehard. One of your many perks you get for being a diehard. And I'll end the show this way. I know the diehards know aisle etiquette. They know how to get back to their seat without jumping in front of somebody's way
Not
view
Carm
of the game.
in front of the TV.
The diehards know. Carm walking in front of the TV,
It's a bad job.
that's a flag. That's a problem.
Practice what you preach, Carm.
Tell you, it's going to bother me when I go home tonight.
We're back here Tuesday, and guess what? Greg Braggs is going to be here on
Brick
Tuesday.
juice, brick by brick.
I'm coming in studio on Tuesday. It's too cold for me to work outside.
Me and Corey were like twins with our CHGO Bears sweatshirt.
I didn't even forget my water
It's a
bottle.
2X, but it looks really big on me. I don't have the guns like Woot.
I haven't lifted a weight since I was in high school.
I got brick strength. All right, that's it.